are you going to be on, Janet?
Pardon me?
What day are you on for the...
I am on from 5 till 6 on Friday and sometime on Saturday.
Okay.
That is all I know.
Okay, well, Janet Kuypers runs Scars Publications. It publishes 2 literary magazines. It releases books globally through Amazon, well, she does. And also, she has CDs online through iTunes and more. She hosts a bi-weekly open mic at Cafe Gallery in Chicago. And I think she writes poems. I'm sorry. She has poems that she writes for every feature, including this one. And I'm going to pass this around. She can read some while she's performing. And check out her new poems. And here's Janet Kuypers.
Chapbooks in case anybody wanted copies, and they only have like, hello, I'm seeing different people here. And I'm sorry, good buffoon. I just got back from India recently, and what I've got here are some poems from India and things that made me think of India. This shawl is from India, and it's about the only thing about me that resembles India, which makes me want to take it off, because I know how to treat women in India sometimes. So I'm going to play music in the background for these pieces, and I hope that with all the other noises around here, you'll be able to hear it, I hope. The first music you're going to hear, most of it's going to be from the Haman of South Africa. He's got some sitar music here, so I thought I'd share it. I hope it is loud enough for you either way. This first one, who is it? I've been wanting to do that. I've been wanting to do that. This first one, by seeing the poverty around the country, the caste system, and the great differences between people who are wealthy like us, like any of us, and people who don't know enough of the language and sleep on the sidewalks is very obvious and very easy to see. And this poem, this first one, about that idea popped into my head. This one is called Building Houses Out of Pallets. I've heard that in poor places in South Africa, they build houses out of extra pieces of scrap metal. But here in the Dominican Republic, I saw them building houses out of pallets. I thought for a second about artists paint pallets, and of course I came back to those large wood pallets for hauling mass product from point A to point B. And all I could think was, houses out of pallets. Thank you very much. I'm going to actually just skip this one down so we go to the next one. In India, they have lanes for roads, and there might be 4 lanes, but easily you'll have 6 vehicles going through them at once, cars and motorcycles, and they honk like mad, and there's no, I don't know why they have stop signs, I really don't, because I never saw anybody use one, even the drivers that would take us anywhere. I'm like, okay, this is how it rolls. This is why I wanted to read this one, and I'm glad that Dina actually said the C word, because I get to say the C word and the N word in this one, and this one I'm like, I don't know how this one, so we'll see. This one is called On the Back of a Touring Bike, and the music you're hearing in the background is from John, because it seemed appropriate for it. I'm not a biker bitch. I know I've gone 155 on his ZX-11, and I know I rode by choice, mind you, for I don't know how many miles at night in the pouring rain on the back of his cycle. And I've been told that initiates me into some sort of unwritten club as an official biker. Don't ask me about the clutch or about actually driving a motorcycle, but apparently I'm an official biker. But on one sunny summer day, riding on the back of his touring bike, some pissy little car cut right in front of us, knocking us into oncoming traffic. And yes, there were cars driving straight at us. We almost did crash. And she did this so that she could cut off a motorcycle so that she could get into the left turn lane. Well, since they forced us into oncoming traffic, we were forced into that left turn lane too, so we stopped at the light right behind them. And the bike rider swung his leg while I sat at the back and told me to wait here while I watched him walk over to that car. And I was thinking, wait, he left me on a running motorcycle and I don't know how this thing moves and what is he doing? So I watched him, and wait, I have to first let you know, he's like 6'4". He's a double black belt Marine. He's wearing his motorcycle helmet. He's an imposing looking man. And I watched him walk to the driver's side of the car that cut us off and knock repeatedly with what seemed about enough force to shatter that window before he started yelling at whoever was driving that car. I couldn't hear the driver if they were yelling back, but I heard him screaming that you could have killed us and you're supposed to see motorcycles. And you know, I can't really remember the details of what he said. I had a motorcycle helmet on. It was just a little freaky to watch before he walked back and the light had changed. And I was still in the stunned mode, but when that light did change, the car then tried to hit us again. And so I pushed with my hand against the car, and he put his foot against that car, like our limbs were going to block a car. But, you know, cut us some slack. It was instinct what we were supposed to do. And that car just started then continuing to chase us. And so we took turns through random subdivisions, and the driver apparently decided enough was enough and left us alone. Now, not half an hour later, there was a knock on my door. I opened my front door to find a cop asking for the motorcycle driver by his full name. I asked him to wait. I told the motorcycle driver, all 6'4" of him, and he came to the front door. But when he did, the cop asked him who he was, and he confirmed his name, and then he asked the cop if it would be okay if he sat on the stoop, because being so tall, he didn't want to look imposing to the cop. He did his best to rationally explain what happened. The cop then asked if he was pounding on the glass, and he wanted the cop to understand that the driver was the instigator. But then the cop said that the driver of this Pontiac Sunfire had said that the motorcycle driver yelled, "Get out of the car, you nigger cunt, so I can kick your ass!" Which stunned my motorcycle driver, and he responded, "Excuse me? There was a woman driving that car? I didn't know that." And the cop said, "Wait a minute, you were pounding on the car, you had to see." And he said, "Yes, I was knocking on the window, but the driver never rolled down the window." And he suggested that the cop look at those windows because they were so heavily tinted that you couldn't see into the car. The cop said he didn't notice that. The cop then took some notes. I think the cop realized that this motorcycle driver was far too aware of his surroundings to get in trouble with the cops. The cop then told him that the woman wanted to press charges, and then he asked him, "What would you like to do?" And he responded, "As far as I'm concerned, it's over. Nobody got hurt. Everything is settled. But if she wants to press charges, fine. I would like to press charges for assault with a deadly weapon and attempted murder. Ask her if she'd like to continue." Because what she did was a felony. And he also said he should check the car for his boot print and my handprint in self-defense. And he reminded the cop to check the tinting on our windows. And the cop then said, there are a lot of crazy people out there. And he suggested that the car driver could have had a gun. But then the cop left, and we never heard from the cop again. I don't know. I don't know if the lesson is from this to not succumb to road rage, to see motorcycles. I don't know. But I have to admit, from sitting in the back of a touring bike, it's kind of cool to see a man defend our collective safety by fighting a car with his bare hands. And it's just about to end, too. What I'm going to read to you now are a bunch of pieces about India. Ta-da, there's your end. Thank you, John. I'm going back to the homeland of South Africa and the sitar music for a bunch of pieces about India and about things that you read in the newspaper. And I guess for that I should put on my shawl so that I'm more appropriately dressed for India, because you're supposed to keep yourself covered at all times when you're a woman. So I'll do that for them, please. That's about as far as I'm going to go. This first one is a long one, then I'm going to do a bunch of haikus. First one is called Unmarried Women. and dead bodies everywhere. The Ganges River in India, the most sacred river to Hindus, is still religiously renowned. But on one day, not too long ago, at the tributary of the Ganges River, they discovered 28 bodies. The locals first spotted the corpses when vultures surrounded those bodies as they piled up along the shore. Online news sources explain that bodies may have been left there when families couldn't afford a burial. And at those same online news sources, lucky you can see videos of dogs eating the flesh of the dead. But I was there. I read those newspapers as the Star of India came to me daily while locals discovered more bodies. Before they found 104, the local papers explained that this tradition of halprava is a custom in some cultures. When unmarried women die, their bodies are dumped in the river. Unrecognizably decomposed, more and more bodies of unmarried women kept floating to the surface in just a few days in this sacred Ganges River. I kept looking for an explanation, and all I could think was that this river was supposed to be sacred. And I wondered if this was their effort to give these women a family in the afterlife, putting them in a river they call sacred. Because I know how they view women in India. Cover their skin, they don't talk back. Because even though women are treated like nothing by men there, they'd be less than nothing if they weren't married. I don't know if these require applause between them. I'm just going to read a bunch of really short ones on different themes. So these are a bunch of haikus. This first one is where I stay, Vishakhapatnam. Destroyers, frigates swarm Vishakhapatnam's bay, patrolling beaches. This one is called Poor. Employ poor, make them hand-paint curbs, tie fronds to lights so streets look nicer. It's one of their ways to keep everybody employed. So yes, all of the curbs and stripes are hand-painted by people. Or we'll put fronds on and just have somebody do this so that they can be employed, so that, you don't have to go on welfare. This is what they do. This one is called Unless. Feel warmth from the sun, touching legs, shoulders, your skin, unless you're a woman. You have no idea how much cover it is. This one is called, similarly themed, Don't. Don't drink their water, never show legs or shoulders, or go out at nights alone. It was strange being a woman there and being like, well, I can't really do anything, so I stayed inside a lot. I was waiting for someone to be able to come around so I could fairly be escorted throughout when I was there. This one is about this whole idea again, being covered. This is called Covered. Cover shoulders, legs. Women are second class, so cover your spirit. I'm imprisoned on earth's dirty side due to their ignorance. I would read the newspapers a lot. They were fascinating to read. And this one is one of them called Extend. Doctors found gene to extend life. Plan to use it for anti-aging cream. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. There's this thing about extending life and anti-aging. Of course. This one is not necessarily about India, but I think this is how a lot of people around the planet might view us. This was a found haiku quoted Twitter. I have to thank @PresBillyJeff for this so I could adopt this one. What will save us from ISIS? Water with fluoride? Vaccines? Fewer guns? Because what do we do in America? What do we have to do to have our government take care of us and then say, no, we won't let you do this too? So, last haiku in the series, this one is called Choice. And it fits in toward the end. This is choice. Our only choice is to destroy ourselves. It's our choice. And so we do. Just enjoy the music. Because I was going toward the ideas of death, I was going to read this piece called Us Creative Types. I'm angry with you. I know us creative types are self-absorbed, but if you're so destitute that even shelters or food banks can't help, should you ever even think about it? I mean, I know we're also selfish, and I know that selfishness is a virtue, but I swear to God, this is the wrong kind of selfishness. If you think this will make you happy, this lack of existence, then think of how much pain you've caused by this one selfish act. Is that how you want to be remembered? I know us creative types are so self-absorbed, so wouldn't you rather be remembered for your talents and not your cut short creativity, and have that be so overshadowed by the pain that you've caused? Because screw you. I know pain. I've been where you've been. I think I've been closer than you. I think I've had more reason than you. And I don't know how long I was on that edge. And I struggle to this day with the knowledge that I should have just done it and got it over with. Trust me, I know. But all us creative types have these demons haunting us. And it's supposed to be our creativity that helps us get through it all. So yeah. I'm angry with you because you said you're a creative type and you should have been strong enough. Test your brain and your soul by testing your creativity more. I mean, Kerouac may have tested himself by bathing in bathtubs of liquor. People may have tested themselves by doing anything from drug overdosing to autoerotic asphyxiation. And yeah, those creative types were selfish, but they're not as selfish as you. And I'm angry because you took the easy way out. And I'm angry because you caused so much pain in this world with this one selfish act. And I'm angry because now what you've done, the pain you've caused, that's the only way I'm forced to think of you now. Thank you very, very much. I am going to end with a 2 haiku poem called J.Y. Asks. Philosophers ask, if all we are chemicals, why do we cry? He thinks, after a loved one dies and he's filled with questions and angst. Next week, I'll be reading there.
Come the weekend. Come the weekend if you want something really fun to do. There's a discount now going on. It's going to be a blast.
And I look forward to being a part of it. And I look forward to being, I'm glad I was part of this, and thank you very much for your time. Thank you.